What's happening, aquarium junkies? Robert back again to do another video. So we've had some updates. All right, the first update, we'll just get the bad news out of the way, is that my convict tank died. Got him about a month ago, and I knew right away there was something wrong. He had the shrunken belly. I was very suspect of parasites, internal parasites. And he wouldn't touch any frozen food. He did get beat up a little bit by the Tamini for the first day or two. No real damage or anything, but the Tamini tangs, as everyone knows, are pretty aggressive at first. But after 2 days, he was accepted in the group, and he was eating lots of nori, but wouldn't touch the frozen food. And I just had a suspicion that it was going to be a few weeks and that he's probably going to end up dying. And exactly what happened. You know, I'm really considering on setting up a 20-gallon quarantine tank for my fish. It's just not worth it anymore. A lot of retail stores, and I don't blame the retail stores. I mean, it really starts with the whole collection process and the transshipping and the wholesale stop and then to the retail store. Think about what these fish go through just to get to our tanks. It's quite remarkable. It's quite the journey. And but we've come to a time now where disease is so prevalent, not just with fish but corals too, that we have to start doing our own due diligence. So, or just buy fish from companies that are, a lot of businesses now are doing self-quarantine. You pay more, but it's definitely worth it. So I'm gonna get another convict tank with a buddy of mine. We're gonna go ahead and he's gonna order one too, and we're gonna share the shipping costs. That's something you can do with your hobbyist friends. Maybe you guys put together an order and then you can share the shipping. But well, for example, I paid $70 for that convict tank from my local store, and now I'm going to pay about $140 for a quarantined fish. So, well worth it. Anyway, that's the bad news. On to, I guess we can call it some good news, is that I got a wild hair up my butt to move all my equipment, which used to be down here on this wall right here. And I moved it all the way back into the corner behind the tank, and I brought it up. And one of the main reasons was that when I set up this tank, I didn't plan to have an ultraviolet sterilizer. It was plumbed in after the fact, which is always challenging. And I had it in a vertical position, which put a tremendous amount of head pressure on my Vector M2. That pump's just not strong enough to handle that type of head pressure. So I needed to reorient it into a horizontal position. So that was another reason why I wanted to move everything. Plus I just wanted to get it back behind the tank and off of the floor, just in case there's any catastrophic flood. You never know what can occur. And I had a lot of equipment down towards the bottom there, like the battery backup and ballast and whatnot. So not the best idea. So anyway, the last couple days I have been relocating everything. And so now obviously we have it all back here, which is great. Behind the tank, it's definitely further up off the floor. You can see I have all my ballast here. Okay, UV right here. And I got real lucky because I like to use Spa Flex, and I did not have to, I thought for sure I was gonna have to do some additional plumbing. I could not believe it, but the input and the output fit perfectly. I'm still shocked over it. So I got really lucky with that. And right now the UV is off. I only turned it on when there's a parasitic outbreak or dinoflagellates or something like that. You can see that's my bulb right there. It's turned off. So all I got to do is open that line and my UV will be ready to rock. I will be excited to see how better the pump does with the UV in this position. But you can see it's a 40-watt Pentair, which is massive for this tank. But that's what I wanted. That was intentional. It's all about contact time, especially with parasites. And I've had a few outbreaks, and as soon as I turn this on, I wipe them out almost immediately. They never even get a chance to take hold. So great investment, and Pentair is a great quality product. So I highly recommend these UVs. I know ultraviolet, what's the other one? Aqua UV, that's another good company too. But I prefer Pentair, so I went with this unit. So anyway, got all that adjusted, and then one day moving everything, and one day trying to do some wire management. I rent this house. If I owned this home, I would probably have the tank in a different location in the house. I would probably have all this stuff out in the garage. I would do a real fancy job with the wiring and the plumbing and blah, blah, blah. But since I'm renting, I just want to make sure that it's, that everything is done where it's efficient and accessible. And if I need to remove any ballast, or I need to replace a driver, or I need to change out my CO2 media, or whatever it is I need to do, I just have easy access to doing that, and that's what's important. So let me come over here too and show you from this angle. So I have this little space here where I can just kind of squeeze into. This doesn't really help, to be honest, but I can actually get in here and I can reach everything. So see, that's just, I can't believe it. This UV used to be in a vertical position, and I still can't believe that that's the output right there and the input right there. I still can't believe they just fit perfectly. It's just, wow, got lucky. But anyway, got my all my equipment up here. You guys have already seen all this stuff. A little display. Right now my pH is about 8. So I have 2 pH monitors. And the reason why is because I used to have a calcium reactor. And I need to calibrate them. It's been about 6 months. It's important. You should calibrate your pH probes at least minimum every 6 months to a year. So I'm going to be doing that soon. I keep my temperature at about 76.3 to 76.7. When it hits 76.8, this $15 fan that I bought off Amazon was the best investment I ever made. It'll kick on and it'll cool the water down to about 76.3 within about 10 minutes. It's really fast. Much better than a chiller. So if anybody's thinking about, hey, I need to figure out a way to cool my tank down, get yourself one of these fans. Really important. What else is going on? Let's just take a look under here. I wanted to mention a couple things. So this tank now is 3 years old. This March it'll be 3 years. And I went through basically 3 sumps. I had a trigger sump that was pretty much just one of their basic sumps, and I was just being cheap and trying to save money, and I said, I need to upgrade this. So I bought one of their more premium sumps. It was with the fleece roller, and Trigger does make beautiful sumps, but I had problems with the fleece roller. There was technical issues constantly, and the fleece roller material was really expensive, and I just got frustrated with it. So I ended up buying a new sump from BRS, one of the Hamali sumps. They were on sale. I got a great deal on it. Anyway, I bought that one. It had a fleece roller as well, and that one was even worse. It was just a real pain in the ass trying to, there was no instructions. You just had to guess. And it took me a little while to figure out how to, put the fleece material, onto the roll and, get access. I'm just going to say this. Fleece rollers are great. They do an incredible job when they work, but I'm not a fan. I almost think they strip the water too much. And there's just too many technical problems with them. And I didn't want to deal with it. So it broke on me, and then that was the time where BRS had discontinued Hamali. And they said, well, we don't have any replacement fleece because the motor broke down on the fleece roller as well. And so they said, we don't have any more replacement parts. We're just going to have to send you a whole new sump. And so they sent me this unit, which was I think it's the Hamali 34 premium, whatever, with a 7-inch filter sock. It's got one filter sock in there, which is really easy to change out. Once a week I change that. So much easier than a fleece roller. Very happy with this sump, but because of all these changes that I made with sumps, I went through 3 of them. My plumbing, you can see here, those couplings, those would never be there. See those 90s? Those are my return lines, okay? That spa flex used to go straight into those unions right there. But because of, the different, because it went through the different sumps, they weren't no longer long enough, and I just had to figure out a way to get them connected without having to replumb the whole damn tank. So this is not something I would ever do, but I just patched it together, and they are drain lines, so it's not like it's making any difference on performance. But I just wanted to point that out. Same thing over here. I had to put some couplings in so I could get the Bowflex to reach. And normally I wouldn't do this. I would just replumb the whole tank, but this plumbing's expensive. It would have been another $300-400 to replumb the whole damn thing. I just didn't want to do it. I got lazy. But this is not something, I just wanted to point that out, that anybody should do. It just doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't look professional at all. But if I really want to, what I need to do is, I did reach out to Hamali, but they never got back to me. I wanted to see if I can order 4 new unions. There's 1, 2 there. So that first line is my UV, and the second one is the emergency drain. So what I'd like to do ultimately is get new unions there. They're in metric. If anyone has any advice on that, where I could find these, please put it down in the comments, because I would love to get some new unions and basically just redo at least this part of the filtration, the drain lines and the UV output and the emergency line. So this look a lot more professional, a lot cleaner. But that's what happened with when you make all these changes. And the same thing with the UV. You know, I didn't plan it into the initial setup. It came in after the fact. And you know, I have the UV plumbed where, you know, it goes from the main pump to the UV, then back to the sump. That is not ideal. You want to go to the UV and then go back to one of the return lines. However, because the UV is so big, I run my UV probably at about 90 to 150 gallons an hour through there. And it's really important with UVs is that you know exactly how much you're pushing through it. A lot of people say, oh, UV doesn't work. Well, it's because you're pushing way too much water through it and the contact time is not efficient, and so the parasites don't get killed. Actually, they don't get killed. What happens is the ultraviolet sterilization damages their DNA. Okay, so they're unable to reproduce. But, you know, it wasn't originally in the design, so I just basically ran it back to the sump. That's also not ideal. So, you know, it's important when you do your plumbing is you really think it through. You know, we have all this Schedule 80 plumbing, which is totally unnecessary. It's really just for looks. That's what we want. We want the gray, and obviously you can buy the, you know, the colored PVC from BRS, and you can design it any way you want. I pretty much have the black and red theme going. But is Schedule 80 necessary? Definitely not. But it looks a hell of a lot better. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. Again, I want to go back to this, the Bubble King Double Cone 180. What a fantastic piece of equipment. I've used a lot of different skimmers, and this is the creme de la creme. This is the best. This is the quality of the skim mate. My nitrates have even significantly come down. It's not fair to compare this skimmer to a Nios 160. They're just two different animals. And so this was a great investment. Super quiet. You can't even hear the pump. And it's a workhorse. And the skim mate is just super dark. And that's what I wanted. Let's see, anything else I need to go over? Not on that front, but as far as the tank, corals are doing fantastic. And maybe I'll just kind of go through, because I know I always forget some, or I actually misidentify them. So this here is the red planet. Right there we have, let me get a little closer shot, we have the Ultimate F-Flow. That's a classic. Behind it there are 2 pieces of strawberry shortcake. I'm not really sure what this green stag is. It's not the green slimer. If anybody knows what this specific species is, please feel free to put that down in the comments as well. Behind it is the PC Rainbow. And that big purple coral back there, I have no idea what that is. Right there we have the California Tort, the Ultimate Delight right there, the green slimer, the Terra del Fuego. We've got a couple Fabias down there. My about 7.5, maybe 8 inches Tridacna maxima. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Got my Scalemia. All my 8 cans are up front. Got my Holy Grail torch. Got the Superman Montipora and the Rainbow Montipora there. The Certosa, which is also Montipora. So this is basically Montipora Alley right here. We have the Burning Banana back here. I guess they call this one the Luigi on crack. We've got the Garfonzi. Right there's the birthday cake with the yellow tips. And above it we have a red Millipora. And I moved the Sunset Millipora back here with the other millies. And back there we have the, what's that called again? It's a Herida, Cherry Bomb Herida. And then here we have the Party Crasher, and then behind the Party Crasher we have Walt Disney, and I don't know if I already mentioned the Pink Floyd right there. Then we have the Jason Fox Flame and the Steve Tyree Pink Lemonade right there. Let's see if I missed any. Oh, and we got Purple Monster. A friend of mine, local aquarist, gave me a huge piece of Purple Monster right there, and it's already encrusting all over the rock. Super purple. And then we have these tequila, I think I call them tequila sunrise mushrooms, and we have one orange Florida Recordia right there. And we have 2 cleaner shrimp, 1 fire shrimp, 1 peppermint shrimp, and let's see, what have I missed? We have this Favia here. We have this, I think this is a Sunset Monty. It's got orange with green polyps. This is a leftover. I used to have a huge colony of it right here. It covered the whole bottom. It was growing on the glass, and I couldn't stand the way it looked, so I took it out. You know, I've had quite a few corals in here that are no longer here. Some of them are more common, fast-growing corals like Montipora capricornus, the orange cap. I had the Milka stylo that got way too big. I took that out. I've had a bunch of digitatas. I took them out too. They're pretty corals, but they're common. They take over, so I removed all those. And I don't think what else I had in here that I removed. I kind of do regret putting the Superman Montipora in there because it's taken up so much real estate, but at this point I'm obviously committed. So the goal is just, this is going to be Montipora Alley here, and then we have all the acros over here. Yeah, but yeah, everything's going great. I run my pH at about 8.2 to 8.45 every day. My phosphate is generally about 0.08 to 0.12. My nitrate's about 10. And salinity, about 1.026. We already talked about temperature. These are the most important parameters. Magnesium about 1350. And calcium about 425 to 435. So those are my numbers. I recently added this AI Orbit 4. It's fantastic. I only have it running at 25%. It's a beast. But I wanted to shoot water straight across. And you can see back here with the Reef Savvy tank, I have about a 20-inch overflow up there. It's pretty streamlined. You can see here it's not that thick, okay? So water comes into here and then it pours down into here. And then I have a lid from Top Lids. Tyler's great. It's a really good company. They do fantastic work. It's a perfect fit. Excellent customer service. And I had them put on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Guns, lots of guns. That's a John Wick saying. I'm a big John Wick fan, so put that on there. Yeah, I'm a gun guy too. Got a couple guns in the house. Really into ARs, and everything's customized. That's my Glock 19. All right, so that's it for today. If anybody has any questions, feel free just to go ahead and put them in the comments. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Hope everybody's 2026 is going fantastic so far, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.